right, welcome everybody. Today is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. And it's been a while since we last spoke, but needless to say, a lot has happened, as you guys can see, since February around over here, my last video when I warned about taking out these lows. That is exactly what we did. We swept the lows from, sweep the lows from November, and then, of course, the market makers just ripped it. I mean, just a amazing rally. I mean, needless to say, the monthly BX kind of told us it was coming, 3 months ago, really. So, not surprised. I hope everybody made money on this nice run here, and I was warning this whole entire time that we could come and sweep this low, and that's exactly what we did. So yeah, the NASDAQ right now is looking crazy. I mean, this is just an absolutely remarkable bull run since the 2022 bear market. I mean, it's just relentless. So, a lot of shit has happened, but at the end of the day, this NASDAQ is relentless, guys. I mean, it really is. Oh, someone just joined. What's up? Let me see. Oh, there he is. Yeah, man. What's up, brother? So, as I was saying, it has been a while, and it's been a crazy run in not just tech, but, industrials too. If we look at the Dow Jones, we will see as well just an absolute ripper, pushing all-time highs continuously. Same thing with the S&P 500. The SPY just absolutely ripping. We swept those lows, same thing as the Qs, as I warned about, and then had a massive rally. I think the S&P was, let's measure it. The S&P was about 20% rally, and the NASDAQ was about a 35% rally. So that just puts it in perspective how much more volatile the NASDAQ is compared to the S&P. But with that being said, let's move into the Magnificent Seven because we haven't looked at them in a while, and we want to. We'll start with the GOAT, Apple. I mean, nonetheless, as I said for the past however many months in this Discord, Apple going to 325 is inevitable, and you should buy as much of it as you possibly could. Last year, we were buying up all here and basically screaming to buy Apple here all last summer. We had a nice run to 280, pulled back, and now fresh new highs. As you could see, the monthly BX trender is perfectly fine. It looks outstanding. My trend line's kind of screwed up, but I'm too lazy to fix it right now. But you guys get the picture. Monthly BX trender, very healthy. Apple is just on an absolute tear, guys. I mean, since last year when we called it out, you're up about 60% now. That's just free money at this point, plus dividends. So Apple looking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's really, really starting to squeeze and get tighter and tighter, as you guys can see. This ascending triangle here is going to take us to the upside eventually. And it is coming. I mean, there is a lot of upside for Tesla. Just you have to be very patient. There's at least another 100% in the next couple of years. You just got to wait. Like I said, you got to be patient. You can't check every day expecting just got to own it, and that's it. But as you can see, perfectly healthy chart when zooming out. Just a beautiful, beautiful ascending triangle. And this should be a bullish move upward going into the 2030s, without a doubt. I mean, this is the most innovative company in the world. Amazon. Okay, so Amazon is also looking great. It kind of looks like it wants to pull back a little bit and retest some support over here. Because we did have a nice rip since March. Amazon ripped approximately 37%. So we'll keep an eye on the weekly BX trender for Amazon. As you can see down here, it's starting to lose some pressure. So we're going to keep an eye on Amazon for that reason. And, we'll be glad to buy in this range. Anything down here, we're happy to buy. Happy. More than happy. Let's take a look at Google. In my opinion, the best Magnificent Seven. Weekly and monthly are starting to cool off on the BX trender indicator. So that's our first sign that, hey, okay, if you're not trimming Google, or if you are trimming Google, you got to decide if you're doing that pretty soon, because it's looking like it wants to pull back, test some support, and we'll see if this low holds eventually, but remains to be seen. But Google, absolutely bullish long term, guys. I'm just saying short term. Looks like we could, come back a little bit in this area. There's a gap right here around 309. So just keep that in mind with Google. Obviously, like I said, I think it's the best Magnificent 7. Let's take a look at Microsoft, which is still probably the best Magnificent 7 opportunity right now, sitting at $427.80 post market. As you can see on the monthly time frame, it kind of does look like a head and shoulders pattern is forming, but I don't think that's gonna play out, guys. I think we're gonna get that higher high and break out from this 553 all-time high on Microsoft eventually. So anywhere in this range, really, I would be accumulating Microsoft, especially when we were looking at it under 400 a few months ago. I mean, that was a no-brainer. But Microsoft is looking absolutely amazing. Their earnings are spectacular. They've been spectacular every single quarter. So, really, needless to say, Microsoft is still the best buy in the Mag 7, in my opinion. What else we got here? We got to look at Meta, of course. Meta. So, Meta, I've been warning to stay away from. As you guys can see, it's done nothing for about a year. So, well, actually longer than a year. So, the monthly BX trender is still red, guys. Still looks bad on Meta. So, again, I would stay away from Meta. Just be careful. At least for now. I'm not saying it's a bad company. I think they're great. I'm just saying for now. What else we got to look at? Let's take a look at AMD, because AMD is one of those where, oh my goodness, guys. Just an absolute ripper. Really, just an absolute ripper. You're talking a year ago, basically. Almost 500% on AMD, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, I'm sure you feel it too. I own some AMD, but nowhere near where I should at all. But, oh God. Okay. Well, AMD, what a rip. Absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at Netflix. And Netflix, wow, is starting to really show its hand here, guys. We're getting this big head and shoulders pattern on the monthly time frame. It's pretty clear right now. And this could take us another 25% lower, I think, if this head and shoulders pattern plays out. It's starting to look like it, guys. If it plays out, we're looking at something like this. Maybe another 25% downside, 28% downside, something like that. It is starting to play out. I'm just showing you what I see. We see the head and shoulders. I'll draw it out to try to make it a little bit easier to see. So we got the two shoulders and we got the head. Very possible that Netflix does take out these lows here at around mid-70s. And if it does, we're going to see a big opportunity here coming towards the end of the summer for Netflix. And under $70, I think, is a must-buy territory. Again, from a monthly time perspective, we are getting a head and shoulders pattern here. A major head and shoulders pattern. So I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. These lows are likely going to get swept. And then eventually, what will happen is, everybody will say, Netflix is going to 30. It's going to 30. And then they take out the lows and sweep it right back up. And that's what probably will end up happening. I mean, realistically. So we're almost there. We're almost at the end of the road for Netflix, but it looks like this Head and Shoulders is going to play out, and we're going to get this opportunity. So this is something we are going to be on top of like crazy. We all need to be watching. All right. Let's check out SMCI. I did call out the buy signal about a month and a half ago, about here, $30. And it's looking good so far, guys. I mean, I just follow my system. I don't do no bullshit. I sit on the weekly, monthly, and I see what I like. And I loved SMCI all in this range. You guys know. It took a while, but it's finally starting to go. And there's a lot more upside. To all-time highs alone, you got 150%. So SMCI is looking great. I really, really like it. A lot of upside long term. A lot of upside. Big time. Another one I really like, but it's looking like it wants to pull back a bit. But this is a great buy regardless, even if it goes down here and takes out these lows. If it goes under 100 again, I'm going to buy the hell out of this stock. Alibaba, their earnings have not been so great, as you guys can see. But I think with the Trump tariffs changing next month in July, this might benefit Baba. We'll see, though. I really like it. Again, the technicals aren't there as a quote-unquote buy signal yet, but, anywhere in this range we're going to be watching. There's a gap here at 110, so that might be one level I'm looking at. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Berkshire, because for about a year now, Berkshire has been flat, and you guys can see the monthly BX is kind of just hanging on. It's just been lower highs, lower lows, while the price has just been stagnant for a whole year. I mean, this is very rare. When you have basically almost 3 years of price action in the same spot on Berkshire, you got to go back to 2017, where Berkshire was basically the same spot for about 4 years. That was the last time. So we are looking like we are seeing a bullish divergence on the weekly BX, because we're starting to get some buying pressure here. But our monthly is still bad, so we want to keep an eye on that as well for BX on Berkshire Hathaway. NVIDIA, of course, I got to cover that. So NVIDIA, needless to say, is the GOAT. And on the monthly chart, it just flipped green again. So NVIDIA is about to go likely on a ridiculous run. Where you say, or you ask, probably anywhere from 270 to 286, around this range. I think the setup is there for NVIDIA. I think they're amazing. And their stock is unstoppable. This company is unstoppable. There's really nothing anybody can do. And if you're shorting this name just because you think it's high, I mean, I remember back here thinking it was high. I remember thinking it was high here. Oh, it's a short. Just because it took out this high. Nope. And that's why you don't short just because something is high, because it will rip your face off. Another 500% from NVIDIA since. So, own NVIDIA. Don't trade it. Just own it. Strategy. We're going to look at strategy in Bitcoin as well. So, as you can see, we're getting the similar head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin with MSTR. Different cycle. Kind of just got to wait it out. Just keep acquiring more Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at Ethereum as well, because the crypto market in itself is in a completely different cycle compared to the NASDAQ, obviously. So, metals as well. We'll take a look at gold and silver in a few minutes. But Bitcoin, as you can see, just bear flag after bear flag. And we are now down from the high. Peak to trough about 51%. So we're getting there, guys. We are getting there. The bear market is almost over for Bitcoin. I think we are approaching the last leg lower into the end of the summer, and it's coming very soon. I think that sweet spot's going to be somewhere around 52 to 58K. And just because the bear market is quote-unquote ending doesn't mean the bull market is beginning, right? We still need some time. We need some time for price to come down here, build up a base, and then maybe by mid-2027, will push back above $100,000. But for now, we are also seeing, just like Netflix, a major head and shoulders pattern playing out on the monthly time frame. And the lows look like they're about to be swept. But again, it's almost the end. We're almost there. We got maybe another max 10 to 18% lower. So just keep stacking Bitcoin while you can, because in however many years, we're going to be all the way the fuck up here, guys. So none of this small week-to-week action matters really long term. Just don't get caught up in it, all right? Don't blow your accounts. Gold, like I said, has topped along with silver a few months ago. And now you're just starting to see it come down. The BX trender is kind of just hanging out. While I don't think gold is going to come back down to these previous all-time highs, just to show you what I'm referring to, I think this is a very big possibility. Right here around the $4,000 level, we could take out these lows and find the base. Obviously we're printing more and more dollars into existence, so I'm bullish gold forever. But when you look at the monthly for gold, I mean, it's normal for it to build a base for about 5 to 10 years. And obviously we have the Bitcoin cycle, which is still very much intact, regardless of what anybody says. The 4-year cycle is still intact. So yeah, gold looking decent, but definitely topped out for now at least. Ethereum, another ugly monthly chart looking like it wants to test this low here. So this is what we will be looking at for the bottom for Ethereum, anywhere between $1,200 and $1,300. So Ethereum looking like it does want to come down. It did break the February low already. Bitcoin didn't yet. Keep that in mind. So that just gives you a perspective of structure, right? So Ethereum just absolute dog shit for the last 5 years. I just can't believe it, but I'll buy it down here if it does come. But Ethereum, let's take a look at UNH, because last year we called this out, and it's finally starting to play out, guys. We're starting to see it come back up. And before you know it, the stock's going to be over $500. It's just an example of patience and what we do and the ability to see things from a long-term perspective. We were buying all here. We weren't scared at all. It was a no-brainer. So, as far as SpaceX, right? We want to talk about SpaceX. So, there's a few things that I wanted to break down. I have them all. I have a couple things written down. So next week, obviously we know SpaceX is doing an initial public offering at a $1.75 trillion valuation. They're raising about $75 billion, and they're reporting a $135 per share price. So this valuation, think about this, guys. $1.7 trillion, guys. Okay? So you look at Tesla, for example, right? Tesla here is worth $1.57 trillion. So SpaceX is opening at a higher valuation than Tesla. Okay? So this is a very high IPO, high value. But at the same time, this will be forced into a lot of people's retail retirement accounts that they don't even know what's probably in it anyway. But this will be in a lot of retirement accounts. It's certainly going to be in mine. I can promise you that. So, pricing starts on June 11th. NASDAQ trading expected after they price it out. So I guess there's some people that will get, first come, first serve type of thing. First, long-term shareholders. Tesla, how this affects Tesla. I think one day, maybe not this year, but eventually, they will merge. XAI, Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, they all will merge. They all form one purpose, really, at the end of the day. And Tesla they invested $2 billion in SpaceX a while ago, which is probably $100 billion by now. And, it has operational overlap with SpaceX and XAI. So Tesla gets indirect exposure, but shareholders of Tesla obviously do not directly own the SpaceX shares. You would have to buy them separately and invest. So right now, their 2025 revenue for SpaceX was $18.6 billion with a $4.9 billion net loss. The bull case is growth and platform dominance. Bear case is huge multiple against current revenue and losses, which makes sense, right? It's a high valuation. They need the earnings to back it up. So the IPO mechanics. So as far as Reuters, what they said $135 a share. That's what they're reporting, right? And their revenue, while it was up 33%, they still posted of almost a $5 billion loss. So that's basically what Tesla made. So it's kind of like, racing each other out if you think about it. So Reuters reported that Elon Musk would retain about 85% voting power, right? So let's take a look. So 85% voting power. Let me read this again. 85% combined voting power. SpaceX uses a dual class structure where Class B shares carry 10 votes and public Class A shares carry 1 vote. So it's, you get more power if, you're in the company, obviously. Tesla's Q1 2026 10Q says Tesla invested $2 billion into SpaceX common stock during the quarter. Tesla also says the investment is fair valued quarterly and gains and losses go through other expenses. Tesla's Q1 26 update says its SpaceX partnership aims to build very large, Project Terafab here, boys, very large semiconductor fabrication capacity. Starting with Terafab in Texas coming up. Okay, so SpaceX IPO, how does this affect Tesla shareholders, right? How does it affect us? If SpaceX prices strongly, right, and trades well, and all these index funds and all these retirement pensions go into it, Tesla's $2 billion investment into SpaceX may become a very, very high balance sheet asset. So that will look good for the market cap of Tesla. But it can go both ways because, again, SpaceX is a high valuation. $1.7 trillion valuation at the opening is unbelievable, guys. Okay? I mean, I just think, obviously, it's an Elon Musk company. It's an IPO. There's a lot of hype behind this, right? We got to, look, here's Jim Cramer. Predicts SpaceX IPO is going to double to $4 trillion. And he might not be wrong, guys. He might not be wrong. But, Tesla has the AI, the compute, and the chip infrastructure, and they're able to scale. So it's really not a concern of scalability. The robots are coming. The worry is, does talent or resources migrate towards SpaceX or excess capital, right? Because Tesla's spending a lot on CapEx. They're all in on autonomy, autonomous cars, and robots, right? People are worried that a merger could dilute Tesla shareholders and introduce an XAI/SpaceX cash burn. What else we got? I mean, honestly, as far as strategy, guys, I think we just have to dollar cost average into our Roth, into our long-term accounts, whatever you got, and just every dip we're going to be buying. I mean, we should be buying day one regardless, just in case it does rip. But even if it does pull back, whatever, to $90, $80, there's going to be a few rockets that blow up. The market's going to panic, right? And it's an Elon stock. So this is not going to be, an Apple type of moving stock. This is going to be, a Tesla type of moving stock. So we got to keep that in mind. All right? So with that being said, I hope that breaks everything down for you guys. It's good to talk. It's good to catch up. Just wanted to go over everything briefly and, stay locked in, everybody. You know, we're having a good year. We're seeing everything happening in real time, and we're doing well. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.